Every faith-based tradition in the world has one thing in common: fasting and prayer. Moses fasted before receiving the commandments. Jesus fasted before beginning his ministry. Prophets, monks, and mystics throughout time and eternity knew this truth. When the body is empty, the soul and the spirit becomes powerful. Fasting is a powerful weapon. Yes, weapon that God has given us, his believers and children, to use against the things that the enemy will bring into our lives. So I'm gonna speak from the heart, but towards the end of this video, I am gonna give you some biblical reference of fasting as well. But I'm just gonna name some of the benefits that fasting has. It breaks ungodly yokes. It establishes your new ministry or path. It gives you favor, healing. You can hear the voice of God. You can resist temptation. You can get freedom and protection. You are humble before God. It humbles your spirit. And it helps you die to the flesh so that you can either start your ministry, start a new path, find a new job. It is so powerful. And it gives you dependence on God. So in the past, growing up, when I was younger, I was living a certain lifestyle that was not necessarily of God, and I can blame this one, that one, my father, or not being there, whatever. You're gonna have to grow past that and let these things go. Or these kind of things can hold you and bind you and yoke you, and you don't even know that you're yoked, and you'll have certain behaviors that's not congruent with the Spirit of God because you have not been delivered from certain things of the past. So I had a certain lifestyle that I was living in the past many, many years ago that I thought I was delivered from. Now, it's also important to pray before we interact with people, especially new Christians or, new people that's trying to find God, because you could be the one to mislead someone or turn them away from the path of God because you have unresolved stuff that is being mixed with your ministry to them or your interaction with them, and it can be confusing to them. So I recently had a sister friend, who God put us together in witness and glory to him, to edify each other, build each other up, help. I've been a Christian for many years, and my grandmother raised me, and I grew up in the church, so I'm well versed in that type of lifestyle. But at the same time, I took my own routes when I was young. So coming back to Christ, of course, you have to be delivered from certain things, that biblically you need to be delivered from, So through the sister friend interaction, I realized that I was saying things, thinking things that were slightly unaligned with the purpose that God put us together for. And not together like that, but together as sister friends. She's a new Christian in Christ, and it was for edifying and building and giving each other strength and encouragement, that kind of thing. And it was really beautiful. But at the same time, God showed me through that interaction that I still had stuff from the past that was not resolved, that I was still dirty and unclean and needed to fast to be set free from certain mindsets of the past. And in the Bible, it says these spirits only come out through fasting and praying. So I could very well be the type that's like, no, it's not me. I'm good. And close like a blind eye to the truth. But I think that we all have to be honest with ourselves. There are people who can lie to themselves, and it's so deep inside of them that you can't even get to that lie. They believe it after a while, and it's a lie. So through fasting and prayer and fasting, you die to the flesh. You kill that flesh and let that spirit be again renewed and empowered by God. You kill the things inside of you that do not give witness to God. And now God can use me and my ministry because I can be clean, I can be healed. I am being honest and get all that ugliness out of you. We are vessels. And as ministers of music, or whatever you want to call it, whatever your path is, whatever your goal is, you need to be a clean vessel if you're trying to be used by God to lift other people, give other people hope, give them belief, help them have faith, help them hang on in this world. This is crazy out there. Like, do you see what's happening? We need to fast. You need to be clean. You need to be healed. I'm looking at the news and there's so many people who are like doing things, crazy things, because they're not clean, they're not healed, they're hurting, and it can be any one of us. Only for the grace of God. You have no idea. Only for the grace of God that I'm sitting here right now, been through so much, but God has always delivered me and healed me and protected me all my life, But fasting has always been a large part of that protection. So if you going through things like you just had a breakup, or you sick, you got a sickness in your body, or you just need answers, or you got to study for a test and you just can't seem to focus and quiet your mind, your spirit, you're hurting, you're grieving, you realize there's ugliness inside of you that has to come out. There are plenty of biblical examples of people being delivered, set free, healed, having favor, such as the story of Esther in the Bible. Favor through fasting, Even Jesus started his ministry fasting, in the wilderness, and then he was tempted. It can help you resist temptation. Fasting is such a powerful weapon. If you feel bound and hurt, and just there's so much going on in the world right now. So many people are hurting so deep inside. Like if I go to work, I'm surrounded by people who are just in darkness. They have no clue of what they want to do with their lives, no clue of who they are. They're seeking approval. It's like, you just let your light shine. God gave you a light. He made you who you are. Let that thing shine. But it can't shine if it's dirty. It can't shine if it's not clean. It can't shine if you're not honest with yourself and honest with God. Because guess what? God he knows what's inside of you. He knows who you really are. So I was thinking that I was good, I was healed, I was clean. God just recently showed me there was still some unresolved things that was unclean and ugly. And if it wasn't for the power and the grace of God, now I lost my sister friend, okay, because of that. But it was the most beautiful experience because it took something so powerful to show me. I did not know that there was still that uncleanness in me. I didn't know. I was going through life, doing my ministry, everything. I always play air guitar, everything, thinking I'm good. No, I was not good. And God had to show me that. So right now I look out and I see people just hurting, just broken, and it's a time, it's the most beautiful time to be alive. But let me tell you something, the war between darkness and light is real, very, very real. And I hope if you clicked on this, then you understand what I'm saying. And in order for you to fight and not be taken down because that little seed of uncleanness could have took me down a path that was not the path of God. And God needed me to be clean because he has a work for me to do. And I'm honest enough with myself to say, 12, that was freaking ugly. You're a freaking mess. You're lazy, you're a mess, you're slothful, you gonna work on this, that, whatever. We gotta be honest with ourselves. I'm not, all right. We have to be honest with ourselves because we can't hide from God. So I'm sorry, but you thinking you're good, and you know if you take a deep look inside, you ain't good. And you may just need to fast. And if you are good, then you can spread the word. But I just came off of a 3-day fast because I needed more than one day. Okay, there was a lot inside of me that God had to get clean. And I just wanted to share this message because, a lot of you out there are children of God. And I'm heart to heart, light to light. I'm going to reach you. Okay, because God is going to draw us together somehow. You're going to hear my music. You're going to see, who knows what? You're going to hear a message. Something's going to lead you to my channel, and it may not be music. You could be like, 12, you suck. It's going to be something that can edify you, that God wants you to work on. It ain't always going to be pretty. Walking with Christ is not always pretty. So I'm going to give you some biblical reference now of fasting in the Bible that he's done. This video is just raw. This is me talking to you. It ain't pretty. It ain't meant to be nothing like that, because working with the power of God ain't pretty. God is deep and powerful, and he needs us to be clean and pure. That light is you don't got to put on tons of makeup and all of that. The light of God can shine through and make you the most beautiful thing on the planet. Fasting can heal you from brokenness, broken heart, from a bad relationship or from a breakup, and you just feel the spirit of grief and pain, and you cannot move past that grief and pain. Fasting can heal you and deliver you from that pain, because fasting is dying to the flesh so that the spirit can be renewed, reborn, empowered, so that you can hear from God and what he's trying to tell you. A lot of the times we go through life and we don't stop. It's so noisy. There's the phones, the computers, the work, the family, whatever it is, and it's like everything is so loud and fighting for your attention. But when you fast, you stop, right? And you give attention to the spirit, because you take the attention off the flesh. And it's not easy, but it's necessary if you want to be delivered from things that you ain't been delivered from. So I just wanted to, share this, because this also is a part of my ministry. I think that a lot of us try to hide and be like, oh, I'm good, let's just play some songs. It's deeper than that. And I want other people to learn from my experiences. We're here to teach and edify each other as well. The fast that I did was a 3-day fast, not 72 hours, but I fasted from 6 in the morning to 3 p.m. for 3 days straight. That's 9 hours, that no eating, no drinking, nothing goes in your mouth. And I was able to fast and pray those whole 3 days, and I just cried out to God, because I would hate to be the one to mislead one of God's beautiful children. I was very sad, very grieving, because I had lost my sister friend, and it's like I didn't have a sister really growing up. I had a lot of different foster sisters, but it's like we were sisters, like it was beautiful, and it was a real short time. But I believe God sent her into my life to show me, no, 12, you need to be clean. You need to be healed. You need to be clean. You need to be washed. You need to fast so that I can put my ministry into you and use you. So you want to know why your ministry ain't flourishing? You want to know why you don't got no inspiration, why you don't feel like, is God using me? Is he not? It's because maybe you want to fast. Maybe there's a little something inside of you that he can't work through, that needs to come out. But you can't get it out because you need to fast. Fasting gives us clarity. It gives us power, and it can set you on the path that God would have you to be on. It can give you clarity about who he has called you to be. I've always known I've always known that I'm a musician or whatever, but it takes time to manifest and life happens, but you got to be clean. So this is me to you, heart to heart. I hope you got something out of this video. This was just honest, raw footage that I needed to come on here, and because there's someone, even one person, who needs to know you may need to fast. God can use you in a powerful way, but not with your own understanding. Lean not to your own understanding. You got to trust God. It ain't easy. It's sacrifices need to be made, and I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful. God bless you all, and peace out.